They never told you the truth. From the first moment, they planted a seed of guilt inside you. They dressed it up as virtue, wrapped it in religion, and repeated it in every lesson, story, and tradition you absorbed as a child. They said to be good, you must give. To be noble, you must serve. To be strong, you must put everyone else first. To be loved, you must sacrifice yourself. But behind those words was a carefully crafted trap, one designed to keep you tame, docile, and useful to others. The truth is far harsher than the fairy tales you were raised on. Power is built on self-prioritization. The world does not celebrate martyrs, it forgets them. Monuments are not built for those who sacrificed endlessly, they're built for those who claimed what they wanted without apology. Those who rose not by pleasing, but by demanding. The powerful do not ask for permission. They don't feel guilty for choosing themselves. They move forward while others bleed for illusions of goodness. Every time you gave loyalty to people who wouldn't return it, you lost. Every time you said yes when your spirit screamed no, you were bending your own spine for the comfort of parasites. That shame they instilled in you is nothing but a leash, and you've been dragging it around your whole life. But there comes a moment, cold, clear, undeniable, when you realize that being good was just a costume. And you weren't born to wear costumes. You were born to win. Winners are not careless, but they are self-centered. Not cruel, but unapologetically strategic. They know no one else will build their empire for them. You either serve your own ambition or you become a tool for someone else's. That is the choice, one that determines your entire life. And the most dangerous cage is the one you don't even see, the invisible cell of selflessness. From the earliest years, you were taught that to be noble is to neglect yourself. That the highest form of love is to give without expectation, to carry burdens that aren't yours, to sacrifice endlessly with the belief that someday, somehow, the world will repay you. But the world does not repay. It consumes. It devours the naive and rewards the ruthless. That idea of boundless selflessness was never meant to uplift you, it was engineered to neutralize you. Because if you are always giving, you will never have the focus, strength, or clarity to build your own power. Selflessness is the most elegant weapon the powerful use against the weak. It looks like virtue, but it's a leash. The more you give away freely, the less you are respected. People don't admire constant sacrifice, they exploit it. The more accessible you are, the more invisible you become. True loyalty is not earned by giving endlessly. It is earned by being rare, by being valuable, by choosing carefully when and how you give. History proves this. No empire was built by those who gave everything away. Empires are built by those who practiced calculated selfishness, placing vision above opinions, mission above relationships, and time above the comfort of others. Selfish people do not despise others, they simply refuse to betray themselves. They see their time and energy as currency, and they invest only where it multiplies. While you waste hours fixing others' messes, someone else is quietly building their kingdom. Ask yourself, when did being selfless ever make you powerful? When did guilt-driven yes ever bring you closer to your goals? How many times have you shrunk yourself to make others comfortable? And what did you get in return? Resentment. Betrayal. Disrespect. The truth is clear, no one honors the one who gives everything. Respect is reserved for the one who could give everything but doesn't. That restraint, that control, is the essence of power. You've been told that selfishness equals evil. That prioritizing yourself makes you cold or cruel. But that fear is just another leash to keep you tame. The real villains are the ones who drain you and call it love. The ones who demand loyalty while giving nothing back. They fear your selfishness because it would end their control. Because the moment you choose yourself, you stop playing their game. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, appearances matter more than intentions, and power respects power. Those who give too much are seen as weak, desperate, soft. But those who give on their own terms are respected as leaders. The paradox is simple, the less you give, the more people crave your yes. Scarcity creates value. You owe your life to no one who did not help build it. You owe your time to no one who treats it as disposable. You owe your loyalty only to those who see you as a force, not a tool. The powerful live by this creed. Time, energy, and focus are the currencies of kings. Every time you give them away without calculation, you bleed for free. And in the world of power, bleeding for free is suicide. The powerful guard their resources with ruthless clarity. Not because they are afraid, but because they understand that every yes is a no to something greater. Every hour wasted on trivial people or petty obligations is an hour stolen from dominance and growth. Generosity is not love. Uncontrolled generosity is weakness in disguise. The truth, accessibility kills mystique. The more available you are, the less valuable you appear. When you are always there, always giving, always accessible, people stop appreciating you. But the moment you withdraw, the moment you vanish, panic sets in. Why? Because deep down, they knew they were feeding on you. They just hoped you wouldn't notice. Power begins when you stop apologizing for putting yourself first. When you stop explaining your no. When you protect your focus, even if others call you cold. The world respects what it cannot easily reach. They admire the person who refuses to bend. They chase the ones who are scarce, who say no without hesitation. The ones who set standards so high that only the worthy get through. You think helping everyone makes you noble. No, it makes you a target. The ones who drain you don't need your help, they need boundaries. They need the silence of your absence. They need to face their own chaos instead of outsourcing it to you. But they will never change as long as you keep showing up as their free resource. Stop playing savior. Stop carrying loads that are not yours. The second you stop, their mask will drop. Their love will turn into blame, their praise into guilt trips. That's how you know it was never love, it was control. Protect your resources like a tyrant. Your time, your energy, your attention, these are not free gifts. They are investments. And if someone is not bringing value in return, they are extracting it. You are either ascending or being stepped on as someone else climbs. There is no middle ground. So be ruthless. Be surgical. Cut distractions without hesitation. Let people call you distant, cold, selfish. These are the words of those who can no longer manipulate you. That is exactly what you must become, uncontrollable. Because only then does your power sharpen into something absolute. Selfishness is not cruelty. It is clarity. Weak men say yes to everything. Strong men say no without flinching. In power, the ability to say no is the true mark of strength. Every yes driven by guilt is another chain around your neck. Every no spoken with clarity is a weapon of freedom. This is the law of power, nothing is free. Not your time, not your loyalty, not your presence. Everything costs. And if someone expects it without effort, without loyalty, without value, they don't deserve it. When you finally accept this, you stop blending in. You stop being replaceable. You stop being the free sample that people consume and discard. Make your value expensive. Make your time rare. Make your approval earned. Respect is built on scarcity, not availability. Kings never lived among peasants, and generals never explained themselves to foot soldiers. Power flows downward, not sideways. To maintain it, you must withhold. You must distance. You must remind the world, I do not come free. And if someone refuses to pay the price of access, whether that price is loyalty, discipline, or respect, let them go. The ones who resist your standards were never here for you. They were only here for what they could take. Let them call you arrogant. Let them say you've changed. Those are just the cries of the entitled. Their opinions are meaningless. You do not owe them explanations. You owe yourself progress, peace, and dominance. Understand this, you were not born to be an emotional outlet for the needy. You were not put here to be an unpaid therapist for chaos addicts. You are here to build, to create, to rise, to dominate. If they are not contributing to that mission, they are extracting from it. Cut them. The world does not reward the nicest. It obeys the strongest. A good heart is not enough. The world respects steel, calculated, selfish steel. Every great empire, every dominant figure, every lasting legacy was built not by boundless generosity, but by ruthless clarity. They did not say yes to everything. They did not answer every call. They preserved their energy like a rare weapon, unleashed only when it mattered. This is why most people stay invisible. They were conditioned to trade power for acceptance. To believe being liked is more important than being respected. To believe saying yes will make them loved, when in reality it only makes them useful. They shrink themselves for others, silence themselves to avoid conflict, and then call that virtue. But that is not virtue. That is voluntary weakness. And power despises weakness. So be selfish. Wake up every day thinking about your mission, your time, your edge. Stop apologizing for cutting people off. Stop explaining your boundaries. Stop feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself. You do not owe anyone your destruction in the name of loyalty. You do not owe anyone your light simply because they are lost in the dark. If they want access to you, let them earn it. If they cannot rise to your level, leave them behind. This is not cruelty, it is evolution. Selfishness is not about harming others. It is about refusing to harm yourself for others. It is about standing so firmly in your purpose that anything not aligned with it is discarded without hesitation. You are not here to save everyone. You are here to become something rare, something powerful, something undeniable. That does not happen by pleasing. It happens by cutting. By protecting your resources. By being selfish in the name of clarity. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be called ruthless. That is the proof you're doing it right. Because the moment people realize they can no longer control you, they will attack your character. Let them. Let them call you cold, distant, arrogant. These are the cries of the powerless. While they whine, you build. While they cling, you rise. The law is simple: be selfish, ruthlessly, unapologetically, strategically. Only then will the world stop seeing you as a resource to be drained and start treating you like the force you were born to be. And that's why every empire eventually decays from within. Power attracts ambition. Ambition demands reward. And the longer a ruler sits on the throne, the more they twist the system to guard themselves and their allies. It is no coincidence that politicians leave office richer than they entered. Or that regulators end up in cushy jobs at the very companies they once supervised. Or that public funds somehow morph into private fortunes. That isn't corruption gone wrong. That's corruption doing exactly what it was designed to do. The sharpest leaders know this. They don't try to eliminate corruption. They organize it. They control it. They decide who profits and who gets punished. They ensure no rival ever grows powerful enough to threaten them. They don't stop the rot. They direct it. And if you want to rise, you must abandon the fantasy of clean hands. If you climb high enough, compromises are inevitable. You will sacrifice principles to survive. And then, like all rulers before you, you will justify it. The greatest trick the powerful ever pulled was convincing people that corruption is rare, or rare infection in an otherwise healthy body. But when someone is punished for corruption, it isn't because they broke the rules. It's because they were careless enough to get caught. Information is power. Another lie people believe is that truth flows freely. That information spreads naturally, balancing the scales. But history laughs at this belief. Truth has always belonged to the powerful. And they decide who gets to know what. Centuries ago, kings controlled kingdoms with swords, yes, but also with spies and messengers. They knew who was plotting, who was loyal, who was sharpening knives in secret. Knowledge was hoarded, not shared. And leaks were never accidents. They were calculated moves. Fast forward to today. The tools have changed, but the principle hasn't. Politicians speak of transparency. Corporations promise accountability. But they only reveal what they want you to see. A press conference shows you the carefully prepared mask. A financial report shows numbers designed to tell a story. Everything else is hidden, buried, classified. Meanwhile, they collect oceans of data about you. Every click, every search, every purchase. Not for your safety, but for their control. They want to predict you, shape you, and if necessary, weaponize your own behavior against you. And what do you know about them? Only what they choose to display. Polished speeches. Stage-managed scandals. Carefully lit photographs. What you don't see are the conversations in locked rooms, the deals sealed with whispers, the skeletons locked away. The most effective leaders in history understood this principle. Augustus Caesar knew everything about his rivals but kept his intentions hidden. Venice's merchants guarded trade secrets like weapons, destroying anyone who tried to expose them. Modern intelligence agencies have toppled governments not with armies, but with information. Lies are powerful, but silence is stronger. When you control what people don't know, you don't even need to lie. You just bury the facts that would ruin you, and let your rivals fight in the dark. This is why whistleblowers are hunted. This is why leaks are punished. And this is why most of what the public sees is a performance. Because when you control the flow of information, you don't just shape opinion, you shape reality itself. History belongs to the victors. People think history is objective, carved in stone. They believe the past is fixed. But Machiavelli knew better. History is written by whoever survives. The same act can be called heroism or tyranny depending entirely on the outcome. A ruler who loses is branded a monster. A ruler who wins is celebrated as a visionary. Caesar overthrew Rome's republic with violence, but because he won, Rome called him a savior. Napoleon crowned himself emperor, praised as a genius until he fell, when his enemies rewrote him into a villain. This is the secret: power doesn't just control the present. It rewrites the past. Losers are erased from memory. Victors carve monuments, hire historians, and fund libraries to make sure their version of events becomes the only version. That's why rulers fear erasure more than death itself. To lose power isn't just to lose the throne. It's to lose your story. To see your victories vanish and your name twisted into a curse. Cruelty becomes necessity. Betrayal becomes strategy. Conquest becomes civilization. What was once a crime becomes wisdom, if the victor survives long enough to rewrite the record. Chaos creates opportunity. People fear chaos. They fear the collapse of governments, protests in the streets, markets in free fall. To most, chaos feels like the end of the world. But to those hungry for power, chaos is a ladder. Stability locks power in place. The rules are fixed, the hierarchy secure, the elites determined to keep you in your cage. In times of peace, ambition is punished. The bold are told to wait their turn, and their turn never comes. But chaos breaks the system. When the old order crumbles, nobody cares whether you're allowed to take power. They only care if you're strong enough to hold it. In a year of turmoil, the ruthless can rise further than they ever could in decades of peace. History proves it. Revolutions reward the bold, not the patient. When the Roman Republic fell into civil war, Caesar seized power while cautious senators hesitated. When 20th century Europe burned, unknown men became dictators overnight simply because they acted while others froze. Chaos is dangerous, yes. Many fall trying to climb through it. But those who succeed rise fast. And once you reach the top, you shift strategy. Now chaos becomes your enemy. Now you need stability to cement your rule. You pass laws, censor rivals, tighten borders. You build cages, not for yourself, but for those who would challenge you. This is the rhythm of power: chaos to climb, stability to rule.